From the front page of the Yonkers Statesman, December 2, 1916. Headline: Russians trying to save Romanians. Indications point to the probability that two flanking operations on a large scale are in progress on the Romanian front. One apparently intended by the Russians to save King Ferdinand's armies, and if possible his capital, and the other by the Teutons to force the evacuation of Bucharest and cut off the troops defending it. Having assembled what seems to be a huge force along the range of the Lower Carpathians, the Russians are pressing a great offensive on a front of approximately 265 miles. They already are declared to have scored successes to lead to expectations that the Teutonic invaders from the north may be seriously menaced. A threat to the Romanians comes from German General von Mackensen on the southeast, controlling virtually the entire course of the Danube as far as Cernavodă. The Teutons, it has been pointed out, deemed likely to attempt throwing forces across the river to outflank each line taken up by the Romanians as they retired. The Greek crisis appears to have passed for the present with the announcement that Greeks have agreed to give up their artillery. Before the agreement was reached, a panic reigned in Athens with an exchange of shots between Greeks and the Entente Marines. In the fighting, many civilians are reported to have been killed. Headline: Food boycott succeeding. Boycotts on food supplies are being conducted with success in Chicago, the members of the women's and civic organizations participating in the food war announced today. They pointed out the diminishing prices of butter, eggs, and poultry are attributed in large measure to the campaign. Headline: Aldermen's Committee hear testimony as to various claims. Woman seeks to recover bed spring. Several claims for damages against the city for personal injuries and for destruction of personal property were considered at a meeting of the Aldermen's Committee on Laws and Ordinances last night. Headline: The Foolproof Airship. There is just one thing still lacking to the purpose of making flying, airplane travel, as commonplace as automobile touring. That one thing is the elimination of danger from aeroplaning, or the reduction of the danger element to as low an average risk as is involved in a 20-mile-an-hour speed in a touring machine, or to a voyage across the Atlantic in a modern steamship. It is never to be expected that the danger element will be entirely eliminated from flying, says the Baltimore American, but there is a very strong basis for the expectation that the fatalities from flying accidents will in time be no greater in proportion than fatalities from automobile accidents or steamship mishaps. Orville Wright 2 years ago declared that he was concentrating his whole thought upon the production of a foolproof flying machine. Other aeronautic inventors have been giving concentrated attention to that same idea. The Wright automatic stabilizer has been patented and is in use. Several other contrivances for giving stability to airplanes and so of reducing the danger risk are being used. Flying is safer now than it was a year ago, but the inventors are still working on schemes to make flying safer. And that's the news from Yonkers 100 years ago today.